Hello and hello. Thank you so much for joining me today. Welcome to Last Week in Germany. Quiet, please. Where I, some random ass guy here in America, catch up on the top headlines out of Germany, the top posts on the German subreddits. Let's do it. All right, first things first. I'm really itching to watch this video clip of the German defense chief warning of Russia maybe attacking NATO in the next 4 years. I saw this headline, and I've been very interested to watch this clip. So, I finally get to do it. Let's do it.
General Breyer, how serious is the threat facing NATO right now from the east, from Russia?
I think it's a very serious threat. I've never seen a situation like this in my 40 years of service. It's really coming to a point where I must say we have to be prepared, and we have to be prepared to be ready to, of course, being able to defend ourselves, but at the same time to do deterrence, just to show Russia that it's not easy to have an attack against NATO territory.
I think one of the biggest lessons, I would say, from the military side of this war in Ukraine is that mass matters, in other words, numbers. And the Russians have got a lot of numbers. Their army isn't very good, but there's a lot of it. And there isn't very much of NATO troops. Germany, UK, and others, we've wound down our militaries.
It's interesting to say there's not a lot of NATO troops. They're almost talking as if America's not in NATO, which is just sad for me to see. But I am looking up right now because I'm curious. Number of troops in Russia military. I want to compare it to America. I don't know. 3.5 million troops in Russia. Compared to America, 1.3 million active duty, 700,000 reserves, so about 2 million troops. Of course, it would increase exponentially if we actually went to war. I assume that's part of the reason why Russia's is higher, is because they are at war. I could be wrong, though.
Can NATO build up its forces enough in time before you and others like you think that Putin is going to have another go at another country?
You're absolutely right. What we see at the moment is that Russia is building up their forces to an enormous extent. We see that they're producing approximately 1,500 main battle tanks every year. And out of this main battle tanks, it's not every single tank is going to Ukraine, but it's also going in stocks and into new military structures, always facing the West. At the same time, there's a production of 4 million rounds of artillery ammunition, so 155 millimeters. And it's also not going into the war in Ukraine. So what we see is quite a huge build-up, and what we assess.
That's pretty terrifying, huh?
And when I'm talking to all the analysts, it's clear that there's an intention, and Putin has stated it several times now, and not only Putin, but the entire administration in there. There's an intent, and there's a build-up of the stocks. And this culminates, I would say, and this is what the analysts are assessing, in 2029. So we have to be ready by 2029. Up to then, we have to speed up in NATO. It's absolutely clear. And we are taking our part in Germany for this as well. If you ask me now, is this a guarantee that's not earlier than 2029? I would say, no, it's not. So we must be able.
I can't help but notice, what sticks out to me in part is the 4-year time frame. Of course, the American president's terms are 4 years long, and this is Trump's last term. Well, not if he gets his way, but it will be. And so, it sounds like to me they're saying, while Trump is president, the risk is higher. Which certainly flies in the face of what Donald Trump would tell you, but That's interesting, huh?
To fight tonight. And for this fight tonight, we are, of course, we are ready because we are soldiers, we are trained, we are educated, and we have weapons. So therefore, we can take this fight tonight.
Well, that was very chilling. Anyway, on to, let's see the top post out of DE, which I can't help but notice. I'm very curious about this one, too. F YouTube and your filthy AI translation. Okay, I don't think I'm going to read this entire thing, but I do want to say it's kind of ironic because I have to translate this to read it. Dear YouTube, I don't want your miserable translation function in my YouTube feed. And why? Because I'm able to speak English, you son of a $2 trillion horror house company. Why hasn't your oh so great artificial, quote, intelligence realized that since the beginning of your pathetic existence, I haven't given a damn whether English translated videos are spit into my feed? It's a good question. I simply want my German videos in German and my English videos in English. Wow, remarkable. This might be a little bit of American centrism going on here where you can, the American developers are kind of assuming everybody only speaks their mother tongue, you know? This applies to the video title and the audio, because of course, most Americans only speak English. So what do I have to do to your punny intelligence to get it to finally get this? What goddess war crimes do I have to threaten a computer with to get its algorithm to finally realize that my click-through rate and my watch time are exponentially higher for original titles? So, I mean, I'm using context clues, but apparently YouTube has some kind of AI that's translating English titles and thumbnails into German. If you're in Germany. Interesting. That's kind of funny because it applies to my videos, doesn't it? So, are my video titles sometimes translated to German for you guys? I would like to know that, actually. Can you guys tell me that? Germany takes the helmet by Chapet in Der Spiegel. Want this? I don't need it anymore, says Trump. As he's taking his baseball bat to go inside of our own country. And it's the leader of the free world flag handed over to Maris. That's pretty deep and accurate. And ironically, you guys probably don't even want Trump being the leader of the free world anyway. File this under the category of, I can't tell if this is satire or not, but apparently, according to this, sending I'm not even going to say it, pictures, YouTube doesn't like those type of words, will be punishable from the 1st of September. Even if they're, like, requested. A dark day for the urologists working from home. All right, this is not Der Spiegel. This is Die Presse. Translating these never does this, so I just have to guess. I'm going to go with the one that's green. Here we go. The review period for the ban on so-called D-pics ends on Friday. The Bar Association is critical, fearing an undesirable and excess criminalization, especially among young people. The prerequisite is that the images were sent unsolicited. That's an important piece of information. Specifically, it will be a criminal offense to transmit unsolicited genital images via so it's not just men. Women can't also do this. I personally haven't ever heard of a man complaining about getting an unsolicited picture, but that is prejudice of me to even say, so moving on. Or using a computer system if this constitutes harassment. The prohibition includes, among other things, SMS, MMS, faxes, emails, instant messages, postings, or transmission via mechanisms such as AirDrop or Bluetooth. Oh, you can't Bluetooth your D-pic to random people at the train station anymore, guys. If the repeated transmission of genital images, I'm trying not to get blocked by YouTube, constitutes another more severe offense, such as persistent pursuit. Oh, more severe offenses applies. I say good. Overall, this seems logical. And yet another post that I'm looking forward to. Tipping is weird, guys. Tipping is weird. top post in the German subreddit. A waitress had a massive temper in a full restaurant I was at yesterday. She was so upset for not getting a tip, even though she did everything right and was nice to them. It was really awkward. And this is in Germany? I feel like the tipping culture really changed in Germany. Tipping, I apologize for that, guys, because that's unfortunate. Tipping is so weird to me. You want extra money for doing your job? For being nice to the customer? WTF. I'm not your employer. It's not my job to pay you a living wage. Your tip is keeping your job. What's doubly kind of funny about this compared to America is like, here in America, they actually are relying on the tips as their income. So, you know, if they're going to complain about it, under the current system, there is some merit to that, like complaining if you did your job correctly. Now, of course, it's your prerogative whether or not you want to tip at all. So you can complain, but it doesn't mean it's like against the rules or anything to not tip. With that said, in a place like Germany, they're actually paying their waiters and waitresses a living wage, right? So on what grounds do you have to stand to even complain that you didn't get a tip? What I will say is kind of funny that a lot of people don't seem to know is that over here in America, the waiters don't want a livable wage. They want to work off tips. They make a lot of money. A lot more than their employers would pay them. Hey, look, this is that quote that immediately when I heard it, my brain had to do a reset. It was so embarrassing. Trump tells German Chancellor D-Day was, quote, not a pleasant day for you. As if Friedrich Merz is Hitler himself. Like, what are you talking about? What a dumbass thing to say, honestly. I mean, I think an explanation in part is that Trump is such a nationalist that he can't help but, like, even think that one might not be proud of a particular part of their own nation's history. You know what I'm trying to say? That entire broadcast was hilarious. Another one of Trump's gems. I don't have friends. I have business partners. No, I really don't have friends. Turns to Mertz. You're my friend. Yeah, I did like that part. I'm not going to go through this because we already just covered tipping, but I do find it interesting, that there's another tipping post in the top posts. I mean, it's a little bit anecdotal, only 2 data points, but it does seem that issue is becoming more prevalent. I love you, Germany. I don't mind a good Germany appreciation post every once in a while. Let's see. It might sound cheesy or even strange to some, but I feel deeply grateful to be in a country where I was truly reborn. I've traveled to 55 countries and lived in 4. I searched the world for peace, safety, something that felt like home. Only now do I understand that home isn't where you come from, it's where you're finally allowed to be. I am a neurodivergent woman shaped by an extremely complicated childhood, one that turned me into a rebel. I come from a deeply conservative Muslim country where I was always too much, too loud, too free, too unapologetically myself. With no one to lean on, I became hyper-independent, not from strength, but from survival. Damn. Then I came here. In Germany, I wear what I want without fear. I roam mountains alone, and I am safe. That's true over here in America. There's bears. Take spontaneous solo trips and live by my own rules, and no one blinks. Actually, I say that now, I'm like, how many bears are in Germany? I really have no idea. I don't think they're nearly as dangerous or prevalent. Germany has a resounding 1 bear. 1 wild bear, Bruno. Oh, he was shot. So there's no bears. Take spontaneous solo trips and live by my own rules, and no one blinks. I'm not native, but now I am German. Yet here I am seen, heard, respected for the first time in my life. I don't feel like a stranger in my own skin. This country isn't perfect, as no place is, but here I don't have to fight every day just to exist. Germany, you gave me what no other place ever could. The freedom to simply be myself. May you ever remain like this. You are more than a country. You are my home. You are my forever refuge. That was quite beautiful. That was really pretty. It was like a poem. And with that, I think that's a good way to end the video. All right. I hope you guys had a good weekend. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for watching.